So first, everybody have a chair. If we need, there's a few odd extra chairs. There's of course a few extra chairs back in the office, but I think we're doing all right. And then does everyone have a candle? I don't have a candle. I need a candle with a shield, and I don't have one. So one of the greeters will have to bring me one. I want to make sure that at the end, you won't need them to the end of the service, but I want to make sure you all have the candle. So this is all about bringing light into the dark. Thank you. All right. Welcome you one and all. This is a feast of peace and hope and joy. I welcome you to this table of inclusion, set with music and candlelight. You all have traveled far and long to be here, some over miles uncounted, since in a sense, you have traveled your whole life, each day, each year, to be here. And now, with these people, on this night, in this place. Let us be glad, rest and feel welcome. This fellowship has always been a wayfarer's inn, a refuge for travelers, a welcome home for those seeking warmth and communion in a world that can be harsh and cold. It's a playful and symbolic gesture. I invite you to remove the dust of that long road. Take your hands if you're willing. You don't have to do it, but if you're willing, take both hands and imagine you're just washing your face of any stress, any dirt and dust and tension. Just take it all away and you just cast it away. Then breathe deeply. Take a deep breath. Let go of any tension and worry. Look around to those around you, or if you're online, the others online. Smile. Be welcome in this humble shelter away from the city's noise. Be present. Seek the holy. Open your hearts and minds, everyone. We'll now open our hearts and our full bodies and our lungs by standing and singing an old Christmas song that echoes the sentiment of our hymn from last week, but more explicit Christology. Meanings of holiday motions, we rest and await the season's wonder. Let us sit with the same stars hovering over us as did the ancient shepherds. Let us take time to savor the slow journey across the burning desert as did the Magi. For each of us, there is a desert to travel, a star, a light to discover and follow, a being within ourselves to bring to light. May these moments together help us see the growing light in a cold and dark time. I hope now I will light the chalice, symbol of our togetherness and the faith that draws us together. Then after I light the chalice, we'll read the words I have chosen. This chalice is a symbol of the warm hope that guides our community. Its light is an image of the shining truth that awakens our minds. Its small flame reminds us of the great love that calls to us over and over again, drawing us together. We have two wisdom readings. The first reading tonight is a contemporary poem, Winter, by Reverend Dr. Greta Crosby. Dr. Crosby served 5 Unitarian Universalist congregations. She retired in 1996. The UU Church of Yakima made her minister emeritus in 1999, and she still lives. Let us not wish away the winter. It's a season into itself, not simply a way to spring. When the trees rest, growing no leaves, gathering no light, they let in sky and trace themselves delicately against dawns and sunsets. Clarity and the brilliance of the winter sky delight. The loom of fog softens edges, lulls the eyes and ears to quiet, and awakens by risk the unquiet. A low dark sky can snow, emblem of individuality, liberality, and aggregate power. Winter is a table set with ice and starlight. Winter dark tends to warm light, fires, candles. Winter cold to hugs and huddles. Winter want to gifts and sharing. Winter tedium to merrymaking. Winter danger draws us to visions and plans and common endeavoring and the zest of narrow escapes. Let us therefore praise winter coming. Rich it is in beauty, challenge and pregnant negativity. Second reading tonight is an ancient reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 1 through 12, New International Version. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born, the King of the Jews? We saw his star when it arose, and we've come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all of Jerusalem with him. Or at least kings always feel like when they're disturbed, all of the rest of their nation's disturbed. When he called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, and he asked them, "Where is the Messiah that was to be born?" "In Bethlehem, Judea," they said. For this is what the prophet Micah wrote. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means the least amongst kings, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." And Herod called the Magi secretly, and then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go search carefully for the child, and as soon as you find him, report to me so that I may also go and worship him." After they heard the king, they went on their way to Bethlehem. And the star that they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and they worshiped him. Then they opened the treasures and they presented him with gold and frankincense and myrrh. And then, having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. Now, music for reflection, First Light by our Christmas trio. This is a sacred night, this night. The word sacred at its root literally means set apart. And why do we set this night apart? There are two reasons, but the most important truth, the most ancient truth coming down to us from on high is that the earth tilts about 23 degrees off the plane of its orbit. If you put the earth, it's on the edge of a plate going around the sun, if it were straight up and down, if the north and south were exactly like this on that flat plane of the orbit, then every day would be the same. Every week, every month, the light would not change. The sun would always go in the same arc across the same part of the sky. But as it is, the earth tilts. And so since the summer solstice, we have been tilting away. Our northern half of the earth has been tilting away from the sun further and further because it's moving out. If I were the sun and the earth is out here, it's tilting away farther and farther away. This is very significant. After the earth, after the summer solstice, the solstice which was on the 21st, that day, the earth starts to go back because it's going around the sun, starts to tilt back. The northern part starts to tilt back. But you can't really tell the difference. I mean, it's a couple seconds, day to day difference in the amount of light. It takes weeks for us to really notice the changes. This day, this time, and the several days on either side of it is part of a still point in the journey of the earth, at least in the way it feels for us who are in the northern half. There's a woman named Susan Cooper, who wrote a children's book, The Shortest Day. And in it she writes, "So the shortest day came and the year died. And everywhere, down the centuries of the snow-white world, came people singing, dancing to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreen. They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling through all the frosty ages. You can hear them echoing behind us. Listen. All the long echoes sing the same delight. This shortest day, as promise awakens in the sleeping land, they carol, they feast, they give thanks, they dearly love their friends and hope for peace. Babies that bear hope with them. And so do we, here and now, this year and every year we welcome Yuletide. Now there's another reason that the light this night is sacred. The other reason is that around the year 200, give or take, no Christian knew exactly when in the year Jesus was born, and they wanted to celebrate. There was a hint of springtime in the scriptures due to the shepherds out grazing in the sheep, which is normally, but that's not really absolute. So the Christian leaders at that time chose December 25th because it provided a Christian alternative to all the festivals, very popular across the empire, that celebrated the winter solstice. The most popular of these, of course, celebrated the Roman god Saturn, the god of time and tides and turning, known as Saturnalia. The festivities of this celebration of the god included Jupiter's dad, by the way, hanging wreaths, giving of gifts, merrymaking, feasting, reversing expectations and roles. One of the most popular gifts back then were candles or lamps. So flaming chalices would have been perfect gift. Back then, people understood that the outer darkness can create inner darkness, and they were looking for the inner light that would help them through the time of darkness. And they knew also that the evil in the world has roots in the mind. Same for everyone. We are all susceptible to fear and ignorance and delusion and hatred. Christians made this connection very explicit through the scripture, like John 1. This is the message we have heard from him and declare to you, God is light. In him there is no darkness at all. If we claim to have fellowship with him and yet walk in the darkness, we lie and do not live by the truth. Other religions, Buddhism, for example, might also equate darkness with ignorance and delusion and fear. Recently, I was reading an essay about the Holocaust and how someone was preparing for the darkest time of the year and how he realized that the Holocaust was a great darkness of evil, and that it still shadows to this day everyone in the nation of Israel. And he began to reflect on what that meant. And he realized all the other people who were walking in darkness. Ukrainians huddled around a kerosene lamp in a basement bomb shelter as Russian missiles fly overhead and crash. Palestinian Christians in Gaza sharing Christmas feast of bread and water. Members of unregistered congregations in China who face arrest simply for gathering together as enemies of the state. Nigerians wondering if terrorists will choose this night to raid their villages. Places where gun violence has raged across this country. Fear and darkness is present. So in this world, I have long held up that old adage, first spoken by a Methodist minister, William Watkinson, in a sermon called The Invincible Strategy. Far better it is to light a candle than curse the darkness. That means to find the light that is in our heart, as well as in our homes, and shine it out into the lives of others. Most of you know the character of the comic strip Peanuts, right? In one strip, Charlie Brown comes upon Linus, who is standing in the night, in the dark, and he's holding a little candle. "What's this?" he asked. And Linus says, "I've heard that it is better to light a single candle than to curse the darkness." And Charlie Brown says, "Yeah, that's true. Though there will always be those who disagree with you." And he looks to the last panel of the comic strip, and there is Lucy standing all alone under the night sky, yelling out, "Curse you, stupid darkness!" But then Reverend Crosby said we should not wish away wintry darkness. Likewise, the great farmer poet of Kentucky, Wendell Berry, said, "To go into the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that in the dark too, the dark blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings." I thought about this line as I was leaving my house to come here, and I heard an owl go, hoo, hoo, hoo. It was a joyful sound for me. Wonderful magic sound, creatures that are invisible most of the time, and yet speaking this deep voice and filling my whole neighborhood. The image of a baby in a womb is an image of love and possibilities all curled in a dark space, in an inner space. And there, the darkness is not of ignorance or evil, but quiet and safety and rustling possibilities. So the ritual tonight of candles has two parts. First, we will settle into darkness. Remember rest, being loved and safe and nurtured with a peaceful heart. And then we will be ready to embrace the light that we find and bear that light into the fullness of life. You may know I became a grandfather again, fourth time. Every time, it's amazing. This new person, I've never met them before, they have no personality at all, and yet I just think they're amazing. Filled with love. Oh, help. Babies are like that. Love is powerful. That power is not just a feeling. It's not just a way it kind of changes the way you look at things or look at another person. It impels you to do something. Love is more powerfully understood as a verb, not a noun, right? To love a baby is to hold them even when they're crying, smell strange. To speak to them even though they have no words to say. To change diapers whenever needed. The adage that best captured love as a verb is this: to the world, you may be only one person, but to one person, you may be the world. This is the point of our religion, of any religion, to renew ourselves, to find the light and the power that allows us to change our direction as individuals and collectively, as a community, as larger communities, as the whole of humanity on this world. As the rabbi said, each of us must act on earth as if in heaven. Magi's go home by a different route in the story. They listen to their dreams, and they want to protect a baby and keep the world a little less violent. To claim worth is to show love. As we may have, as we all approach this night, I'm sure some of you have heard the song "Deck the Halls," right? And not too long ago, I read a blogger. I was looking at stories that mentioned the word universalist in it. And I was going through and I came across this one blogger, and his on Christmas Day, he had this post that was, technically anything I don is gay apparel. This was important for him to be able to post publicly on Facebook, because the first 20 years of his life, he was raised in a conservative Christian community, and everyone he knew said that gay people were dangerous anomalies. As a child, he knew that he was different. He knew, as he heard the descriptions of gay people, that he was something like a gay person. And as a child, he knew that if he was gay, he only had two options. One was to hide a part of himself in the darkest cave he could find in his heart. And the other was to allow himself to be relegated to the dark corner of the world called weird, dangerous. But one day, he was invited to a Unitarian Universalist church, UU church, and he met this gay man there. And the gay man was nothing like the gay stereotype that he had been given his whole life. The gay man was married to another gay man, and they were very grounded and sort of ordinary people living a sort of ordinary life. It was a profound moment for him, he said. Suddenly, his life was filled with possibilities. And as he met all the people of all different kinds in that congregation, he realized that his life was full of possibilities. He felt like he was being born into a new world. If you have been marginalized, alienated, oppressed from the world, the right world, it is a miracle to see that the world can be made anew, sometimes in a moment. All those labels that empower people to place us in a box of the weird, the dark box of the other, immigrant, transgendered, Hispanic, homeless, Muslim, Jew, Christian, pagan. For all of us, no matter what label we suffer, we can relax into the goodness of who we are in our wholeness. We can find the way in which the parts of us that we find are uncomfortable to us or to other people can be integrated and made to sit in ease, like a quiet person in the darkness at rest. We can become a candle in the dark for others, but at night we can nurture love in the womb of darkness. As they say in Español, esta noche el amor ha nacido de nuevo. Love has been born anew. So with that, those words of preparation for our candle ceremony, I now invite the choir to come forward and sing the second anthem, great song, Peace, Peace. May the spirit of peace bring us to the timeless nature of dark and night, the void of silence, where all is at peace. Let us be aware of the work that we can do in darkness and sleep. May we know our dreaming, our past and future are reconciled. May we come closer to one another and to all for which we hope. In the darkness and quiet of the sacred eve, let us be at ease and open to all as good within and around the dark. In the darkness, light appears. When we find the light, love, peace, understanding, we want to share it with others. And those who are foolish evangelists shove their truth on others, risking resistance and hot wax spilled. The person of true faith holds up their light and lets others lean in out of curiosity to kindle their light. I will now do this, and we will now hold our candles and pass the light through this congregation. One of the reasons I love doing this ceremony is I get to see all your faces glowing. Great light, light of life and love, we praise you for all your smaller incarnations. The eastern light that slants upon our roofs in the morning. The light that slants upon our western doors at evening. The twilight over black pool and river at bat flight. Owl and moth light, glowworm, glow night, or moon and light and starlight scintillating on ice-covered glades. O greater light, we celebrate you in all the lights we kindle. small lights of those who meditate at midnight, the lights of altars and sanctuaries, the abundant light of all our festivities and celebrations. Light invisible, we praise you, that you may shine also in our words and in our deeds. And in these small candles, may we bring your light into the world. Now we will extinguish our candles. Fill the world with the perfume of smoke. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Now you remain